Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. We got a little Predator Badlands to talk today. Sarah should be joining me in a few minutes, and we hopefully will have Jay come on too, because we got a lot to talk about. Like Nadia just said in here. Oh, it was just such a good time. I'm ecstatic for the sequel. I saw it for the second time last night, this time with both of my other roommates rather than just the one. So two of us were seeing it for the second time, excuse me. And I think I came out of it at least even more excited because we saw with our other roommate, of course, and then we saw with another friend of ours, and getting to, share that excitement and share that kind of adrenaline comes with this movie was almost just as much of a blast as seeing it the first time. My roommate that did see it with me the first time, he said, well, I didn't love it as much the second time, but I could pick apart and actually see how things informed each other more so than I did the first time. So that was kind of cool to discuss that with them. But obviously, we're going to get into the nitty gritty here with the group and all that. But let me know what y'all think was your favorite part of this film, your least favorite part of this film. Essentially, give me your good, bad, and the ugly, and we can kind of jump into this thing. I hope Mom will be as awesome as the father. Whew! Yeah, no, the dad was intense. That's a good place to start. Just the opening of this film. And you know what was funny was my roommate that had seen it with me before, who went to go see it again last night, came in late, actually. He came in about 40 minutes into the film, maybe something around there. And essentially, he got there as Elle Fanning shows up after Deck, the Yautja protagonist here, has made it to the planet itself. Let me make sure we have this on here just so folks know. But yeah, he essentially made it to the theater as Elle Fanning showing up, stuck in the little pterodactyl thing's kind of nest. I wouldn't have thunk, unless he said that, like time-wise, getting in there like 30, 45 minutes late, somewhere in that range. Elle Fanning's really not in a third of the film. Like a third of the film, she's not in. But the time and the type of acting that she does further into the film, I think makes up for that tenfold and a half. Obviously, we get a dual role out of her. One thing that I really appreciated, just talking with my buddies last night after the film, was the two actors. This is essentially a movie with two actors. You also have Quay. You have Deck's father, who I don't think we ever actually get a name for. And you do have a few different synths. But nonetheless, I think one of the synths gets a line. The two Yautja, Quay and the father, yeah, they speak, but they speak Yautja, and it's much more that character actor. It's not necessarily important who's behind the mask there, and it's not important who's behind the mask for Deck, our main protagonist, either, which is really nice to see. It felt more. My roommate, who had seen it twice with me, compared it almost to the Tusken Raiders and Mandalorians last night, and just the way they're reverent and approach to their own cultures and such. And I thought those were pretty nice comparisons, niche comparisons, but nice ones. I was just taken aback after thinking about it, how much work these two actors put in. Yes, there was a guy in the synth that was, I think, getting killed at one point and got to get a line out there. Yes, there was the father and Quay, but realistically, you had two actors for the entire damn movie. And it's an hour 47-minute movie, so it's not short, but it's kind of that nice, perfect length too. It's not too long either. And I don't know. I could gush about the two of them all day. Just from the actor's perspective. From a directing perspective, Trachtenberg did amazing, and to have the two of them to bounce off of like that is absolutely just quintessential if you're going to make a movie that is getting as highly rated as this one is. It's not a perfect film by any means, and I guess today we will go through some of the things that we can nitpick apart from there. And I think this film has been getting a bunch of unfair criticism from the people that have been criticizing it first and foremost, rather than, taking the time to just enjoy something rather than have to critique it. I feel like there's a certain subset of people who I enjoy watching every now and then, that are totally like anti-Disney, anti-woke, I guess would be the easy way to say that. We don't have to hold our hat on that term and dive into all that stuff. But nonetheless, I don't disagree with the thought process on that a lot of the times. It's like, okay, that's a little much. It's a little much. Just lay back, layer it like a human would. Have some actual onions to peel back, like Shrek would say. I don't think this film was over Disneyfied. I don't think it was for the term over feminized that people keep saying at all. I don't think so at all. We get to see a badass, vengeful, and the revenge just ridden guy go on a complete journey. And yeah, you get some help from a synth that happens to be female oriented. That is pretty damn funny. I did not expect the humor in this film. And I don't think the humor of it was a Disneyfication or a Marvelization of it either. I understand that Disney and Marvel both kind of coincide with Predator because they own the entire, I guess, franchise, and Disney, Fox in general, and Marvel has the publishing rights for Predator as well. So there is correlation there. Nonetheless, I don't think it was over Disneyfied. I don't think it was over Marvelified. And to simplify it to that is to negate the things it did do well and do right. And that was like 95% of the film. I understand where some of those harsher critics are coming from. People that want to almost feel and look for the bad in something. And I'm just tired of doing that. I had a damn good time with this movie. Yes, it's not going to win an Oscar for Best Picture. It could for Best Visual Effects. Hope it's at least nominated. But this isn't an Oscar bait type of film. I would still almost call it a film rather than a movie, but this is the definition of a damn good blockbuster popcorn flick or movie. And it's nonetheless a really good film as well. It's a really good sci-fi film in itself, and I like that it can be both. It was great, just great. Thank you, Nadia. Actually, let me catch up on what you've been saying before I just start rambling too much, because I can, and especially about something like this. Can't wait for the sequel. We got to wait for Sarah and hopefully Jay to come in here to talk sequel stuff, because I got some ideas about where it's going to go. Obviously, there's a lot of different theories, and mine might not be too dissimilar, because I was thinking that in the theater as we saw it, and I talked to my roommate about it, and then we got home and saw Screen Crush had a whole thing of, well, what if Alien Earth connects to this? And my mind just lit up. That little light bulb went on, and it was a great time. And honestly, that's what you want out of films. We were kind of getting that out of Marvel in like mid 2010s, but it's just, this is an actual film. And I think the last actual film we might have gotten out of Marvel might have been Black Panther, but before that was Civil War. And this was actually just enjoyable on every level. If you want to think about it more, you can. And it still makes sense. And that's one of the things I think Sarah and I have talked about a few times now is, and it's always fun because, I like to cook. There's a very little fat to trim off of this movie. And that's what you want. Would you agree?
Yes. Even though I missed half of, I'm having anyway, I'm here.
No. Tech issues are tech issues. First and foremost, you doing all right?
Yeah. Yep.
Good.
So
Good.
I look okay with my clunky setup I have going on right now. Anyway.
No, it looks fine. Speaking of clunky, there were a couple of clunky jokes, but I really think most of them landed fine. I really like this movie. I thought it was great. Must see it in IMAX. You saw it in IMAX, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen IMAX, but I saw it in 40X, and then I saw it just in a standard movie theater, not even reclining seats, much to the chagrin of one of my roommates last night. It was just as good in a regular standard viewing. I think IMAX would probably be the best way to see it, to envision the world that was there and given to us and made by Trachtenberg and Company. But 40X might have been the most fun way you can see it. Standard, though, how was your movie theater? Did y'all have a bunch of people in there, and were there audible reactions throughout the film as well?
It was pretty full. I mean, so a lot of people have been going to see it, which was good. I wasn't really paying attention to what other people, I didn't really hear anybody else reacting, but I wasn't really paying attention. I kind of tune it out. So, but, I think people were enjoying it. Yeah. My husband really did. He thought it was great.
Oh, was there a Brit report? It was just, he really enjoyed it.
Yeah, he really enjoyed it. He thought it was probably the best movie we've seen this year, and I kind of agree. So it's just
that good.
The tone of it was like totally different than I expected, but I liked it. It was a good thing, that it was more. I liked that it had like the humor and the comedy in it, like made it better.
Yeah,
because most Predator movies, it's like the Predator is this big, evil, scary monster that's killing people and skinning them or whatever, and they kind of made him more like a real person, which I forgot to write down the names again. Deck, Thea. I saw it again last night. They are ingrained in my head right now, so don't worry, I got you. I think I got half the freaking species on the planet too, if we're not careful. So the Youch, I remember that. If that was
yeah. Just because I was kind of jumping in on the humor and stuff right there before we jumped in there as well. Do you think it is a Disneyfication or a Marvelization? Do you think that humor is an executive's note? And if yes, do you think Dan Trachtenberg did a good job with that note and did the best of it as he could? Or do you think that was something that he actually wanted to put in the movie because it's so... They're just so intrinsically involved. I guess I'm thinking Elle Fanning synth, humor from it all, and then Bud in general. Because I have seen a lot of people say, well, Bud's just a Grogu. And I'm like, I can see how you feel that way, but the movie doesn't happen without him. Like,
right. Yeah, because that's the whole thing that he's hunting. So the another name of creature that I can't remember.
The Callisk.
Callisk, yeah. A baby Callisk. Good to have a Callisk on your side, it seems like, after when he fought Mom and what her abilities are. Like the self-healing thing was crazy. That fight scene was great, though, but it was just like, okay, so it just grows a tail. You cut it off, it just grows a tail. Or whatever it was.
Zips up. It's like sutures its entire stomach. It grows its head back. It's intense.
Yeah. When the head, and then it the little tentacle things or whatever reach out. It's crazy.
Another, I guess,
creature though. It was yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, it was just a really good creature. for that kind of planet.
It made sense.
Yeah.
It was still, if we had to guess, because it seemed like some of the flora was slightly intelligent.
Yeah.
Like the vines had to have been intelligent to some degree. And then
right. They gave them personality. I mean, like I said, everything plant or human or electronic or whatever had a personality in this movie.
Well, I really like that it doesn't connect to Alien Earth, but it's almost it is a spiritual successor in the same way where okay, you got 5 new cool creatures in this show. You're getting to explore those new creatures. Oh, surprise. Yeah, none of them are just dumb creatures. They all have certain levels of sentience. Obviously, the fly is not going to be the same as the octopi.
Right, yeah. Yeah, octopi super.
And I think they kind of play with that on this place too, where everything, there's no human here. There's no, the synths are here, just kind of here. The only, I guess, intelligible species that tends to consistently come back besides the humans sending the synths are the Yautja to hunt. And they're not going to live there for very long if all they're doing is trying to just fight without any help kind of deal, as we see. That to me, I guess, signals that maybe the Callisk is the most intelligent thing on the planet. You know?
It's the, what do they call it? There's a name like the alpha predator or something, but I don't think it's called that. There's some, I forget what it is. But anyway, maybe somebody in chat knows. But
yeah, because the alpha predator was the one from The Predator. Did you watch it yet?
I haven't watched The Predator. I started watching Predators, which that's a concept. So I've just, well, I guess for being spoilery. So it's I just got to the point where everybody's landed on the planet or wherever it is, and they're kind of all finding each other and trying to figure out what's going on. That's where I'm at.
In Predators.
Yeah, where they just found all the cages of the other creatures or whatever that have been parachuted in, I guess. That's where I left off.
I don't know if the Predator is canon within all the franchise, but I'm glad that Predators is, because those two things correlate. They're like Prison Planet and just the way the culture is revered and kind of dishonored and honored within this film. It's I'm sure they're going to inform one another very soon. And with how fast Dan Trachtenberg is getting good Predator movies out, it could be in like the next 8 months if we're not careful. They might have just not announced something. Who knows? Howdy. Go see it, Peter. Go check it out.
Yeah, you got to see it. It's really good. It's worth going to see. It definitely is.
It is. If it's hard to tell people to go spend $15 or 15 quid, whatever it is, on a film nowadays, this is one that I'd say is worth it. Nonetheless, Regal needs to sponsor us, because I'm saying go get your Regal or your AMC freaking pass and make it easy and cheap to the movie theater. But that's if you're going to go there a few times a month. Did you think, because I guess I almost trailed off a minute ago, there was another critique about the film. Now that we're talking about the Callisk and all these kind of things.
Right.
Obviously, there was the marvelization of the jokes, the Disneyfication of, all right, we needed Elle Fanning here, and the quote-unquote feminization of it, which that makes me just roll my eyes a little bit. I think people are just trying to find a reason to be pissy. Because it's a revenge story. Deck is intense the entire freaking time, doesn't smile or hold up. The biggest joke he makes one joke, and he kind of just makes fun of Elle Fanning for a moment. Like, that's it. Yeah. And it's not a joke. Yeah.
That was great. The whole legs thing. It was great.
That was actually great. The other critique, I guess, I've been seeing and hearing is, well, it's just a big old CGI fest. Did that take you out of it at all?
No, I think it all looked really good. I mean, it looked like what you expect it to look like. I don't know what else would you expect it to be. Like create a real callus so they can film it. I mean, I think it looked. I mean, everything looked fine to me. I didn't feel for a minute. I mean, you obviously know everything's fake, but
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't feel like I could see. Saw that
Well,
necessarily.
and hey,
But,
it helps that Elle Fanning at least is, whether
mhm,
she's playing a synth or not, she's the human
mhm,
component that we get to see and
right.
visualize in the world the entire time. And never
Mhm,
once did I feel like, oh, she's not interacting in the world. When they're jumping through the trees and Deck has to catch himself with the sword and they're sliding down that tree and
right.
they're
Yeah.
almost going to touch the razor grass down there.
Mhm,
You
yep.
can see Elle Fanning like visually. It felt like the razor
Sure.
grass was about to go through her eye, like it was about to happen. It
Yeah.
didn't feel like, oh, that CGI grass it's gonna get her.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was there. It felt
Yeah.
tangible, which was
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, I bought into it all. I wasn't, but I'm not necessarily looking to see it either. You know what I mean? I'm kind of letting my brain just go with it, whatever.
And
Uh,
I feel like I did the same thing, but
mhm.
I don't feel like there was a moment that took me out of the film, CGI wise or anything like that. The closest I got was the father's face right before he gets a nice little chomp up there.
Yeah.
Uh, Quay and Deck are very clearly practical suits. They did make a practical a head for the father at least, but that's
Right.
not what we see. And it is a pretty CGI face, and that was me the second time, like trying to find a little bit of something that just takes me out of it, and that's it. That's all I could find was the father's face once the
Right.
mask was finally taken off in the final moments of the film, like the final moments of the film.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. That doesn't
Mm.
negate or lessen my ability to enjoy it. I don't know. I thought everything informed itself so well, like we were mentioning the other day in our
Yeah.
attempted spoiler free.
Yeah.
That was difficult.
Mhm.
But yeah, I felt like everything worked really well. There
Yeah, I
wasn't
think
a part of
so.
it that fell apart to me at any point.
No, as far as that, I think everything looked as good as it could look for what it was, and um, I thought I liked that they went with all the death and destruction, I guess, of life, so to speak, was all like synth. It wasn't like a bunch of blood and guts and like horror. They made it all like everybody there was a synth, which would make sense considering it's a death planet and all of that. So I liked that there was like all this like slaughtering going on, but it wasn't people. It was just machines or
Well,
whatever. Um,
I think the only other like true criticism I've seen of it is that hey, it's too much CGI, which
right.
eye roll, come on, y'all. Also, the
Yeah.
feminization, eye roll, come on, y'all. The humor, I understand it honestly. I don't
Mhm.
agree with it necessarily.
Right.
Um, but this is very much our first PG-13 Predator movie.
Right,
Um,
like, I was just thinking, like, maybe they're trying to make it more kid-friendly, I guess.
which
It
they
didn't feel like
introduce a
it
lot
was for kids, but
of.
I could see, like, taking the blood and guts out, which I don't think it really hurt the film at all.
Me either.
It all made sense in the story that humans wouldn't go to this planet, you know?
And one thing that people aren't even mentioning that it's subtle, but I love the way she says it because we're following synths.
Mhm.
Even the one that's the most sensitive, because we see that Tessa, the alternate character for Elle Fanning, is also quote
Mhm.
unquote more sensitive, but her sensitivity is more in tune with, oh, how do I bend someone's empathy to work for me, kind of, rather than
Mhm.
Thea's sympathy or it leans in
Right.
towards empathy rather. Their sensitivities lean opposite directions in that sense.
Mhm.
One thing I guess I appreciated was I don't even think Thea likes humans, because whenever she mentions humans not coming onto the world to Deck, she said, "Oh, those they'd send their stupid humans here, or their silly humans here, or something." And it was very just it was nonchalant, and it was almost kind of like humans are kind of dumb. They're kind of just. I think one of our.
It seems like she made a couple comments about that, about humans kind of being dumb.
And I guess I just find that interesting because she's the one that's supposed to be the sensitive, nice one that you would think would feel empathetic towards humans, and it seems like she doesn't even. So obviously these other synths aren't going to care, and they're going to be very cold and calculated, and who knows if they're even listening to the humans. They're listening to Mother, really, first and foremost. And we know how Mother reacts to things, a la Alien Earth, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
but
the specimens are above all, so, and they didn't want the outs messing things up. So, yeah.
It's so, I guess, just cold and callous in that sense. I'm very intrigued to see how, of course, they're going to bring this and Killer of Killers together, because it seems like they will. And if what people are theorizing that there's going to be like Predator Avengers kind of, and we're going to get Arnie, we're going to get Danny Glover, we're going to get Naru from Prey, we're going to get the three different characters, the what was it, the World War II fighter pilot, the Viking lady, and then the feudal Japan, I guess he was a samurai.
I'll have to watch that again. I don't remember all the. I remember her, the chick from Prey being in there, but
yeah,
I've got to watch it. I don't remember like what the other ones were, but yeah.
So when they show up, her face kind of at the end of the film, and you see, oh, it's that moment, that Leonardo DiCaprio meme kind of moment, After that, they added, I think it was a couple months after, maybe a month after it actually released, there was a post-credit scene that they added to it, and it was Arnold and Danny Glover, both in stasis as well, going forward, just on the screen. So I guess the intrigue I have there is, it seems like they want to put together a little Predator Avenger super team of people to fight predators. Cool. I'm down. That sounds fun. Yeah. Are you going to include Deck there now? Is Deck going to be sympathetic in his own way? Because he's kind of sympathetic to Thea, but also not.
We kind of don't know what's going to happen with Deck, because he basically took his dad's place as was he like a clan chief or whatever?
He was the clan.
Mom was coming, so what's going to happen there?
I think Mama took charge of the clan, and it seems like I'm not super familiar with all the Dark Horse comics. I just know bits and pieces, kind of from it intrigued me over the years, and been diving a little bit the last couple of days as well. But predators seem to be primarily a matriarchal society, at least within the Dark Horse comics. So he might have just really majorly screwed up. Don't piss Mama off is kind of, I think, the quintessential point there, which sounds like a great spot to start for a sequel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They left it like just wide open for another story there, which is cool. I hope we get one. It'd be fun, It'd be his, him and his robot girlfriend, like that.
I don't feel like I know everyone's joking about that, and it is funny.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're going to lean into that.
No, I don't think she's necessarily capable of that. Maybe, you don't know, but I wasn't thinking anything along those lines anyway. It was just a funny thought.
Yeah, it is a funny thought. That is one of those. I keep air quoting critiques, because it just seems like all the critiques are kind of just vitriol just tossed at it. It's like, okay, I get you're pissed off at Disney. Me too, in a lot of ways. And a lot of the time, I'm still gonna go see Avatar Day 1 next month too. But it's still, a good movie is a good movie, and a good film is a good film, and this is both. And I'm glad Disney can still do that. I think this is showing a bit of course correction on their part. I don't think it's necessarily deserving of high praise for Disney. I think this is more deserving of high praise for Dan Trachtenberg, but it's at least showing that, well, hey, they did Deadpool Wolverine. They just put Alien Earth on their, and they did a Hellraiser and 2 different Prey movie or Predator movies, one being Prey, and now they're doing Predator Badlands. Disney's kind of pushing their comfortability into a closer to that rated R kind of sensibility, and
I think they're trying to do like they're not just a family friendly everything.
They're like, hey, we've bought up all these other companies, all these franchises. We're just letting you know they're not going to go the way of the wayside. We're going to do something with them, and that's nice. If they're going to spend the money on,
at least Disney gets a franchise and does something with it.
for right, wrong, or indifferent. Amazon. Sorry, what? Here, you know what would be fun is if I sip some tea real quick. Disney. What? I mean, Amazon. God, you know what I mean. I messed up the tea moment. Nonetheless, though, I am intrigued just from how it ended, because obviously we want to see like the exact next moments. That's why I almost joked earlier of like, hell, is Dan Trachtenberg going to pop out another 8 months with another freaking Predator movie? Like, I didn't know Killer of Killers was going to happen before, I guess, Badlands. I knew of Badlands first, and then Killer of Killers popped out, and it was like, animated Predator movie? I'll try it.
Yeah, at first I didn't realize there was 2 separate things. When they were first starting to talk about Killer of Killers, I thought it was this movie, Badlands, that they were talking about. But I'm like, wait, there's this other, what?
I thought it was some like advertising something for it, or maybe it's gonna get like a fun little like web series or something. I was like, how are they doing this? A TV movie in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs kind of version of things, and it was good. If this just continued,
I meant to, and I just haven't had the time. I got to watch it again. But I did watch Predator 2.
You said you hadn't never seen it before, right?
Right. I'd only seen like the beginning of it, and it was kind of gory, and so I didn't like watch it. So it was the first time I'd watched it all the way through. Yeah. It was okay. It was a 1990 film, for sure.
It was a Danny Glover film too.
Yeah. I think he was actually good in it, though.
He's never not. I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah. And just how, like, 1997 was like the future when this movie was made. It's funny. Which was funny. I'm like, oh, so yeah, okay, so it's all hot now, and LA is like just run by gangs, and anyway, that was crazy. But I guess they maybe they had to set that up, because then it made sense for the Predator could get away with doing what he was doing, since there was all this violence going on anyway.
Yeah.
And
within, obviously, it's not in the same timeline of humanity that we exist in. It's not trying to be that or anything. It's saying,
it's an alternate kind of near future or whatever, which is like 1997 is funny. I know where the gun comes from in Prey, though, right? I know where the gun. I know the gun story now, because I was looking at Prey. I'm like, what's this gun? I don't get it. No,
you're putting a lot of emphasis on this just picture of a gun over here.
Yeah, now I get it. Okay.
Yeah. I do like, because Predator 2 is not. It's a damn good time. I wouldn't call it a great film necessarily.
No, there's a lot of actors' faces in it. Like, I didn't realize, like, Bill Paxton. Do I have the right one? Is in it?
Yeah.
Jane from Firefly is in it.
Adam Baldwin, who apparently was supposed to come back for AVP Requiem, and they decided not to.
Oh, okay.
Which hopefully that means it's not canon, but we.
Hopefully.
Who knows?
Yeah. Then of course,
was...
what's his name? Um,
Danny Glover?
no, the other guy. Keys, the Keys character. What's his name? I want to say Nick Nolte, but it's not Nick Nolte. It's the other guy.
Oh, Gary Busey, right?
Yes, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. Yep, Peter Keys. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All you had to say was Nick Nolte and not him, and I was like, oh, I got you. So yeah, okay. So obviously, starting the next film or whatever we're going to get feels like we know the exact starting point.
Mm-hmm.
If and when and how they find a way to get Deck and Bud and Thea, who knows if they lose the fight with the mom and then they get cryo frozen and say, all right, you know what? You are a good fighter. At least I'm going to at least toss you in a ring, you know, earn your place back in our clan after you did that, or die, you know, and I could see that kind of being a Yautja kind of punishment / reward at the same time. Because technically, from all the lore that I've just been trying to catch up on the last few days, it is very much against Yautja code to kill another Yautja, and especially do so with the cloak. So I don't know how that kind of ties into things, because that means, hey, Papa is pretty dishonorable here, and he's not a very good person. That's pretty evident. Kills Quay in a cloak. Tries to kill Deck while wearing his cloak, which means he's not all. He might be a good fighter, but he ain't all that good a fighter.
No, like using the cloak is kind of cheating.
It is cheating, and that's
there's such a culture of like honor and doing the right thing, and you know, you have to like kind of come of age and do your own hunt or whatever.
Like Mandalorian, like almost in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. But that makes sense. The cloak thing. So maybe I don't know.
Well, I think it might be a minor detail that was not a minor detail. Obviously, it's a big visual detail that we want to see predators put on their cloaks. But I think while we're, the other, I guess, criticism that I keep seeing is that it's demystifying the Predator lore. And I'm like, screw off, y'all. There's 40 years of comics. This is just borrowing bits and pieces of that.
Yeah, and I get that. I kind of had that thought too. I kind of liked it going in the different direction, but it was like the previous Predators just had, well, of course I haven't seen everything yet, but you know, they're the scary badass monster kind of thing, and they kind of got rid of some of that with this, but I don't know if that's necessarily because as far as like him and Thea, but I think to everyone else he was still like that kind of, you know, Yautja thing. I just think with her it was a little different. Like he kind of become like friends with her, but we see like in their culture, like him and his brother were close and stuff, so they have like feelings and family and bonds and stuff like that. They're just not afraid to kill their own children if they think they're weaklings, that's all. But aside from that, they have a culture and stuff, you know.
They do, and it's so weird because I'm pretty sure the cloak detail is going to come into play, but we also hear Tessa say, "Oh, I'm surprised they didn't Yautja coal their wheat." You know, like I was surprised that comment, and then the lore that we know kind of already exists prior to this, don't 100% intertwine, and I'm intrigued to figure out how they're going to make that make sense. But while we're on the Tessa and kind of Thea thought, that's where I'm intrigued. Where if he loses the battle, gets cryo frozen, and they get frozen. Well, if Deck loses the battle. Do Bud and Thea get the as well, or do they escape somehow? And they're the people that end up finding the other humans. And maybe Elle Fanning's like, oh, well, it's humans. I can kind of manipulate them. They're easy. So that's how she kind of picks up the rest of their Predator Avengers team, for lack of a better term. That's what everyone's been calling it, so we might as well stick with it. Because I could see it going two ways. Dek has to fight through everything, and hey, he's got a Callus now, a little bit easier to do so. He's also got a synth that can fight very freaking well, because synths are synths, so that makes sense.
Or at least her legs fight very well too.
Yeah, at the very least. She's got legs for days, as they say, and these are deadly. Deadly. It's I wouldn't be surprised if they take that route where they just have to fight everything head on, because that's very Predator. That's very Yautja. I mean, that's literally what we saw a whole movie about.
Yep.
I could see them, and I think they will get immediate. Lore-wise, it makes sense if Dek gets taken and the other two have to escape.
Right.
I think people might be a little fussy if that happens, though, because then that might be, oh, so they are Disneyfying this, huh? And it's like, there were two options for this story. Either, and where do you go if you just keep fighting and then these other two have to die? And if they don't escape, how do you catch up to that? I think there are some iffy things that we're going to have to, I guess, see where they take us there.
They're just going to keep them together as a trio, and they're going to have to go on some adventure or some test or some trek somewhere to do something. But then the Yauts are very much like, oh, you got to do it on your own. You know, you got to like kill the beast by yourself without any help. So that's why he calls her a tool, so that he can. That's like a loophole, kind of like it's not somebody else. Maybe she's just a tool.
He called Tessa a tool when he woke up, and I don't think that made Tessa very happy. She started scanning his brain very quickly after that.
And I'm kind of curious, was Tessa like how she was before? Because we see Tessa, you know, her damaged body gets returned to Mother, and she's in that pod, and they're repairing her. And Mother's like, you know, you failed and all this stuff. And I just wondered, I had in my head, but now they don't actually show it. But I was wondering if Tessa was more like Thea, and then after that, where she got kind of repaired and sort of sent back out with the, you know, the thing to not fail this time or whatever, if that changed her, if she was always like that. I guess we don't really know. That was in my head, but I don't know if that's
I
true.
was thinking the same thing, and I think that it's both. Because at the end of the day, she's still a synth. So she's still robotic and takes directives in that kind of robotic kind of format. She was programmed with sensitivity, far more sensitivity than the other synths around them. It was both and Thea. So it makes sense that they would almost have that sisterly relationship over all the other synths around them. They're probably in charge. It seems like Tessa's the most in charge. So Thea might have been in charge of the lab, and Tessa might have been in charge of actual field operations. Kind of seems like what they were alluding to.
It looked like that.
I would guess that they're much more like Thea when they are together. And I would, because, you know, when Tessa wakes up and you actually see the synth being kind of done, and all right, fix her up after getting torn apart from the Talisk. The first thing she's saying are Thea, 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 in that kind of like robotic way when she's waking up. So she did feel and try to like save or try to worry about something about Thea. So there is that's kind of almost sisterly bond, or as much as you can have for a synth in there. But at the end of the day, when she's woken back up and given a directive, she's still a synth, I think.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I took it, where, this is Mother saying, sure, you have follow your directive. Prime directive. That's most important. Yeah. And now that Thea is in direct, and it's proven and shown that she's in direct competition with that prime directive. Yeah. She's a no-go. So I think it is both, and I think it can only be both because she was that synth. So it's not like she really had the human emotion prior with Thea. Right. And Thea's not even human emotion, just regular emotion, I guess, because Thea almost learns emotion, not learns emotion, but ingratiates herself within Dek's emotions. as much as she can, because he's just a whole book of emotions there. Definitely not 3. Angry, hungry, vengeful. That kind of sounds like Deck right there.
Yeah. Well, he's the one that kind of gives her the idea that they're sisters, I think.
Yeah. Just the way she describes herself to, or Tessa to Deck, that's when he's kind of like, it's your sister. She's like, oh. And I love Elle Fanning. Oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. That kind of...
Yeah. It's kind of what...
They didn't have to make her ditzy, I guess. And she kind of does come off a little ditzy at times. But it's not a dumb ditzy. It's just it's strictly personality, and that I don't mind.
Yeah, she clearly was smart. I mean,
because we've seen every version of synthetic being inside of the Alien Predator verse, the Weyland-Yutani verse. Whatever, I don't know the correct definition of that, but whatever the correct terminology there would be. You don't you see them all with different personalities and the way they approach things. I think the most clinical we have seen are probably David and Kirsch, but then again they do approach things very differently at the same time. And then now that we have a bunch of hybrids, they all approach things wildly different, and that also is weird because they're synthetic beings, but are they synthetic souls? Like what? How do we work that into that? There's still
conversation.
There's
well,
still
how do you transfer consciousness from an organic brain or wherever? I guess it would be our brain, from an organic brain to a computer.
Is that just digitization of the brain, or taking the soul out? Like it's so odd.
I mean, I guess our brain has electrical signals or whatever, but it's like kind of wild.
It is. And it just begs so many questions. And I wonder if when they do meet, if they do meet, first and foremost, and Elle Fanning as Thea gets to go hang out with the Predator Avengers over here.
Yeah.
Is she going to almost utilize them as Deck utilized her as tools? To get back to Deck and get Deck out of where she needs to get him out of? Or is she going to show the sympathy and empathy there? Because she did belittle humans a few times in the movie, so I can almost see her.
She must have a directive or whatever to protect humans also, even though she has the ability to. But not all humans. I don't know. They don't really get into that, but
the biggest question I have from this film, Weyland-Yutani wise, is the sense that have this extra sensitivity programmed into them. I don't know if they got extra sensibility or not. That's TBD. It was more of a mother reminded Tessa of her directive. And they also reminded Thea of her directive multiple times, and she chose to actively not engage with those and disengage, for a better term.
Except for one time, she did set off that alarm when he first took her to that trailer to repair herself or whatever.
Oh yeah, and she thought that was she didn't, I guess, expect them to do with the Yautja what she thought they would. What they ended up doing, I guess. And the second she gets the chance to not do that, she takes it in stride and kind of screws up the Weyland-Yutani core right there. I'm intrigued to see if she will show that same type of sensitivity towards humans, or if she feels like synths and humans are kind of her enemy now. And I am just intrigued with the Prime Directive kind of thing, because we saw that.
Do they follow those robot laws, whatever that are? What are they?
Yeah, I mean, that's more Asimov, so I don't know if we're stuck to that, but it is a very general kind of, people just include that base level kind of robot law for a lot of things, because
Mhm.
I don't know. Makes sense. You know, like you make a robot of a human, you probably
Yeah.
don't want to be taken out by the robot at the same time.
Mhm.
First law of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. First law of
Right.
robotics is make
Yeah.
sure they don't freaking kill us. You know, like it
Yeah. Yep.
makes sense.
Mhm.
It definitely doesn't not. Um, I don't know if she's going to end up. I actually think she's going to utilize those humans as a tool, and the reason I think that is because no matter what happens, Deck has to fight his mom. The three of them have to fight his
Yeah.
mom and all the different people that are coming after him. All the Youts are coming after him.
Right.
No matter what, they either have to find a way to escape and get the hell out of Dodge, or Deck will get captured, killed, something. I doubt he's going to be killed because we just watched the whole movie about him. So
Right.
probably captured, if I had to guess. That
Mhm.
or they all have to get out of Dodge and then find an
Mhm.
unlikely team of people to help. Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, Guardians of the Predator universe, whatever they are. Um, but
Yeah, they're gonna let those people loose, and yeah, we'll see. I guess.
I will understand people getting, and like I just kind of made fun of theirs. It's gonna feel Guardians of the Galaxy. It's gonna feel like we're putting
Mhm.
a team together, or Justice League, Avengers, whoever,
Right.
whatever, yada yada.
Yeah.
I think the way to make that better is to turn that on the head of the people that they know will be angry with it already and utilize Thea as somebody that, oh yeah, hey, I almost sound like I'm from Wisconsin. Like, hey, I'm gonna be your friend. I'm your buddy. I'm just your pal. We're gonna
Yeah.
do a bunch of good stuff. Save
Yeah.
each other from these Yautja and take out the others. You got us. We got
Mhm.
Bud behind us. He's friendly, and
Yeah.
I think she'll utilize that kind of the way she comes across to her
Mhm.
what's the word I'm looking for? To brain fart. Hello. Just for her purposes that she needs to go save Deck or to
Right.
take out
Manipulate people,
Mother
use
or
people, whatever, to their own ends. Yeah, I mean, she
yeah.
obviously is gonna be able to hack into all the Weyland-Yutani systems that are out there, and
Well, not only that,
but
the Killer of Killers cast, whether they come to live action or whether we see these Predators go back and Thea and Bud go into animation,
mhm,
there's one very, very nice and simple thing that Thea has that will be able to help the entire movie go forward a little bit. Hey, that universal translator comes back into play.
yep.
Now we can speak Norse. Now we can speak Japanese. Now we can speak English, and now
Oh,
we
yeah.
can speak
I didn't
Yautja.
even think about that. Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes more sense for why she would be there as well. But
Yes.
also, whether the Killer of Killers cast and crew there, cast and crew, you know what I mean, the animated folks in the movie,
Yes.
they obviously have learned to communicate with one another to like lesser degrees. Very much
Mhm.
no. Yep. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Sword, gun, like something, you know, like it's
Yeah.
very much almost charades in the way they communicate, just because there is that language barrier between all three of them rather than just one, you know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
there wouldn't be if she's there, because however universal translators work, I guess.
yeah,
But
you know,
right.
I'm sure the World War II pilot can say Konnichiwa. You know, I'm sure he's got that
Right.
down, but I doubt he's got much past that. So I think
Right.
Thea being that universal translator could be extremely helpful and pivotal for us as an audience to get all of what they need across rather than just
Mhm.
do the subtitles, although I do love and kind of prefer subtitles sometimes.
Mhm.
It brings you further into that film. And I think Badlands is a good example of that. That first half hour and the
Right.
last about 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Nonetheless, if Thea doesn't like humans and she's using them as a means to an end for herself there,
Yeah.
she can kind of pit them against each other too. They don't speak the same languages. She speaks each individual's language. If she
Mhm.
doesn't have the human's best interest in mind at the end of the day,
Right.
who's to say she's really just going to let them die off one by one and just wait until she can get back to Deck?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think she might not be happy-go-lucky Thea for much longer. wherever this ends up going. I think she might be kind of the overarching villain in some ways, at least from humanity's perspective. Maybe not the Yautja perspective, but at least humanity's.
I mean, definitely Weyland-Yutani sees her as that now, So, and they have a lot of power in the universe. So,
if they're on a planet like this, that's 200 years in the future, 300 years in the future, however much it is, it's very much uncharted territory. And hey, maybe these synths are so well designed now that they have free will or can have the ability to find their own free will, maybe via like Murderbot just a little bit, something like that. Who knows?
Right. Or maybe she has evolved since she was first made. Their programming evolves to adapt to these kind of environments that they're thrown into.
Well, synthetic artificial intelligence, artificial humanity, you would think so, right? Like that would be its natural kind of state, especially with the increased sensitivity. Now, that being said, she has free will. She might not have to follow that prime directive or mission directive, whatever is the best way to say that. That doesn't mean Weyland-Yutani doesn't have a tracker in her. She's an expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah. And speaking of trackers, I was wondering, because they injected Dak with whatever that was, some sedative, I guess they had injected him with. I wonder if there's like a tracker or something in that. Could be.
Very well could be. It definitely would not make sense. One thing, now that we're kind of talking about the Avengers kind of for Predator stuff, and we're kind of pretty far into that thought, obviously, the two big ones that need to be just as fast as possible are Mama Deck.
Yeah.
However the best name, whatever her name is, whenever we find it out.
Yep.
She needs to go. The big bad guy, or the big kind of brutish leader from Killer of Killers, who doesn't end up getting, needs to get pretty quickly. He needs to go.
Yeah.
And then I guess where do we go from there? Are those going to be the Predator Avenger movies, just going against a bigger Predator? Because that's one thing that I think I do appreciate about this movie is going in a different direction. And I do understand the humanization, demystifying a little bit. I understand the thought process there. I don't think it actually does. I understand the thought process for it.
Right. But it's more a peek behind the curtain, I think, than like changing what predators are,
Yeah, it's very much oh, look, the Wizard of Oz is here. And it's not like, oh, well, it's taking apart the entire thing. It's
right.
Oh, wait, how did he get there? It's more Oz the Great and Powerful than Wicked, but something like that.
Right.
I don't know how those references came to mind there, but they did. So here we are. The thing that I guess is where would this Predator Avengers movie go? The theory that Screen Crush came up with, which we talked about a little bit whenever Alien Earth was kind of going on, is she might end up being an alien queen, Wendy.
Yeah.
What better kind of Thanos-like event would it be for the Predators to go take out this alien queen like this that's been alive for maybe 150, 200 years now?
Right.
And talks to aliens, does all these different things. Oh, yeah, cool. Deck's got a synth with him. Yeah. But here's a hybrid queen that is also followed and adored by every alien xenomorph that she's ever come encountered with. Oh, not only that, she's in charge now.
Of the island, anyway. We'll see how that goes if we get a season 2.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know if they're going to take it there. I don't know if because that would be a natural way to go into the next Alien versus Predator film. how long does that take to set up? Could they do that within a film? They could, I think, do that within a film or two.
Yeah, you mean like send the trio to take out Wendy or something like that?
Or no, I think because this is 200-300 years in the future. The theory that I've seen from Screen Crush,
Right, if Wendy continues and she becomes this really powerful sort of xenomorph queen, and they need to take her out. I don't know. It would be an interesting story. But I don't know if they're gonna like have those two things come together, are they? I guess they could, but
I don't see how there's any way that they don't. When the two most recent things, because Killer of Killers was before Alien Earth, so I'm going to count Alien Earth and Predator Badlands as the two most recent. We get hybrids, which are essentially, for lack of a better definition, synths with more sensitivity. And then next thing we get is synths with more sensitivity, a couple hundred years in the future, which shows that, hey, Weyland-Yutani might have gotten some of this and was able to work it into their average synth as well, and hopefully push back the hype a little bit.
We've noted before is that, we don't hear about Prodigy later on.
They very well might still be something, but it definitely doesn't seem like they are what they were.
Weyland maybe just kind of absorbed Prodigy and all of that research and stuff about hybrids. So could it be that Thea and Tessa are hybrids and don't, well, I guess are hybrids and don't know it?
I doubt that's the case, but it could be.
It's just a thought to throw out there. I guess it could,
Well, I just think, I think they're trying to push us towards that thought. I just don't know if it'll make sense if they do. Right. But could you see hybrids leading synth units out in the field, just not letting them know that they're hybrids? The only thing about that is, do you have to make the person that becomes the hybrid an amnesiac? Or what? That just gets into some more interesting theories as well.
Right. Because, Earth shows that they can modify memories and stuff because they do that with Nibs.
There we go. I was like, redhead, crazy one.
Yeah. Just took me a minute, Just don't take Mr. Sunshine or whatever the name of that bird was. I forget now.
I'm still pissed off with the episode of Alien Earth, but there's so much good. There's so much good in there. Like, just give us the next season so I can stop being pissed off at it, please.
Yeah.
Do you think the Avengers Predator version of this kind of theory that, you can see why it's the prevalent theory after people start watching Badlands. Do you think that's what we're going to end up going to? Trachtenberg's going to turn it on its head a little bit.
The thought of it being like trying to be Marvel didn't even cross my mind, actually. I just wasn't thinking that at all. But now that you bring it up, it's like, oh yeah, you can kind of see. Is that what they really, really do? I guess we'll find out. But why create this team and then do nothing with it?
Well, that's the thought.
What are they going to do with it? Is Mom pissed off, or are they just letting us think Mom is pissed off, and then it's going to end up being all cool because she hated Dad anyway, or something? Who knows?
She might have seen her husband use the cloak against Deck and said that was completely dishonorable. And Deck might think, okay, Mom's coming, I got to fight again, and then she might hop out and say, your father shouldn't have done that. Your father is useless. He calls you weak and then loses in a fight after even cheating. You're not the weak one. You're no longer the runt. He was the runt. Something like that.
Right. Yeah.
That could be.
What was their relationship? I don't know how relationships work in the Predator universe.
Seems like you can have a good relationship. brotherly relationship.
He was living stuff. They weren't living together. Was that the usual way of doing things, or was it one of those things where like mom and dad like hated each other? We're not living together. I don't know. I guess we'll find that out if they do another movie,
Find
maybe.
out.
Yeah, but
It's so I'm very intrigued, and obviously I think the whole just people poo poo in the movie a little bit have been calling it
Mhm,
that Guardians of the Galaxy, that kind of Avengers
mhm.
Justice League kind of format. Yes, because that's recency bias as well, though. That's very much recency bias.
Yeah, if I went in thinking that, I could see where you think it, but I went in and just watched it as a movie, enjoyed it. Didn't even. I mean, it didn't even the Marvel thing didn't even like occur to me.
No,
So
well,
it
yeah,
wasn't like it wasn't like so obvious, like in your face, like, oh, that's what they're doing. It didn't have that to me.
I
So
walked out the theater
yeah,
and my roommate and I were talking about it, but it wasn't I didn't put the Avengers or Guardians type of label on it till saw a
right,
bunch of videos and started thinking about it and was
right.
like, okay, I can kind of see how that thought process is coming
Yeah,
across. When we walked out,
you mentioned
we
it.
were
Yeah.
much more like, okay, so they're doing Seven Samurai. They're doing the Magnificent Seven. It's the three people that are it's Deck,
Right.
Thea, and Bud, and then we
Yeah.
have the other three there.
Mhm.
And then we have Naru, um, uh, uh, Danny Glover, and Arnie. I can't think of their names right now.
Right.
So that's six, seven, seven with Deck, and
Right.
then 8, 9 with Thea and Bud. But technically,
Right.
Synth and
Beast.
Callus are not. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
wouldn't be
Mhm.
wouldn't be part of the team because obviously Deck is like they're part of my clan. So yeah, he considers them part of the team already, but
Yeah.
the others may be more hesitant because also the other three humans,
Mhm.
while they would be, oh, there's another person. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
What's the first thing she's gonna say? Oh no, 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 I'm not human. I'm much stronger, smarter, faster, and more capable than you will ever be. Maybe all put together.
Yep.
And that would be something that would be interesting for her character to act like because okay,
Yeah.
that informs a little bit just right there as well.
Mhm.
Um, the most important part I think of Elle Fanning at large in this movie, obviously hugely important part for the film itself, but at
Mhm.
large in the franchise, in the whole world, in the Wayland Yutani verse is where I'm gonna just start calling it.
Yeah.
Those, like we said earlier, those very small lines that almost just allude to something else. Like, okay,
Mhm.
yeah, sure. She seems like she's the nice one, but she
Right.
also poo-poos on humanity a couple of times. Is like, hey, people, they're
Right.
soft. They're not capable. They would have died on this planet a long time
Yeah.
ago. And from the way she says it, it seems like, and they probably would have deserved it too.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, she's seen how humans really are. She doesn't have this idealized view of humanity.
no,
Yeah.
for better, worse, or indifferent.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
as we say, that's TBD. So
Yeah.
that's going to be something I'm excited for in the next couple movies or projects, whatever they end up doing.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's gonna come
Would
up next.
Would you rather the next thing they do or Trachtenberg does, and David Trachtenberg, the unsung hero, there's a Gilroy brothers for Predators, which we went over the other day.
Mhm.
David Trachtenberg, he's either his cousin or his brother to Dan Trachtenberg, the director and writer of all these things. He's big into all of this too, and it's really fun just to
Mhm.
have that brotherly love on there. Essentially, Dan Trachtenberg was Deck and David was Quaid. Hopefully
Yeah.
David's still kicking in real life. He's good, so that's good at
Mhm.
least. But I do love that they have that there's a familial bond at the helm of Predator in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
with the new found family that the Predator seems to be getting, Deck, and the new found family that the Killer of Killers crew is getting together, Would you rather the next project, whether it be a TV film, whether it go straight to streaming or it be an actual theatrical kind of release, would you prefer that be animated, or would you rather it stick in the live action now that we have a really cool live action one again?
It'd be cool to do the live action, but how do they handle, are we going to get the weird, like Arnold and Danny? Like, how would they do that in a live action? I would prefer a live action. I mean, I'd be okay with animated too, because it was done really well, Killer of Killers. It's just, if they do it, then we're going to have to get the weird, CGI, make them younger thing. And would we just, it's like, because I don't think either of them, they're like too old to do any action kind of like stuff. I mean, maybe Arnold could still do some things, but
he had a Terminator Dark Fate.
That would look weird. So it'd almost be like, you'd almost have to do it, I think, without them, or you'd almost have to have like complete CGI creations of them with their voices, maybe, but that would just look weird. I don't know. Yeah. If I'm seeing on this, it's only on YouTube, it's just showing the smaller screen thing.
It should, let me just double check, because there should be two separate streams, I think, and it should be the same stream nonetheless. At least that's what StreamYard's told me. I'm trusting StreamYard, so fingers crossed there.
I'm just seeing the smaller thing. That's all that's on. So
really,
yeah. So I'm like trying to try not to move too much because I want to stay in frame.
No, we're still good. There's both. I just pulled up the regular one on my TV screen as well. And it is funny looking at myself looking at the TV screen like that for a second. Looks like a screen used for one of the shorts. Yeah. So essentially, StreamYard is now trying out a thing where we can stream simultaneously, both vertically and landscape horizontally. Okay. So we're trying it out. We're going to do both. It's more just to get different eyeballs on.
Okay.
But on if you go to the SciTrek page on YouTube, whether you're on your TV, phone, or whatever, there should be two separate streams that pop up, and one will have the little like vertical cell phone symbol right next to it. That's the vertical, and then the other is your good old regular landscape horizontal.
All right, however that works. Anyway, I went out and went back in, and now it's the wider. So I don't know. Whatever. I didn't see that button, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's just two separate streams, which is interesting.
Okay.
But it's still the same. Eureka! Actually, though. Where were we?
If we want to do live action or animated, I said live action, except for I don't think they could bring Arnold and Danny back and do it.
The only way
weird
is to do that CGI, deep fake, so on and so forth version of things. And I think the two best case studies for that would be Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel. And then I think the more pertinent case study would be Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. Oh, monk. The bird blindness. Because I'm with you. I would prefer a live action continuation of the story that we have.
Mm-hmm.
My worry is if we do include the Killer of Killers crew there.
Yeah.
CGI stuff.
Yeah.
Also, the bigger worry, maybe not the bigger worry, but a big worry nonetheless, from the filmmaking perspective and from the producer's perspective, where, hey, this is a really fun, cool, artistic project, but it's got to also make money, because this was a very expensive Predator movie to make.
Yes,
I think it was $120 million to make, and it's got to make $220 million to break even. It seems like it's on. It was only supposed to get $25 million opening weekend, was its projected opening,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 25 domestic and like 35, 40 worldwide. Did you see what it was?
No.
It was 40 domestic and 80 million worldwide. So it literally doubled the expectations. So hopefully that will be something that can continue. Yeah, Glover wouldn't be that hard to get. Arnold might be more difficult. I think they would both come back to do it, especially there would be another actor that would take their place for their younger scenes, and they would be there mostly for lines and dialogue. And they would also have they would be easy for them because they wouldn't be able to do the stuff on set day to day. So after the fact, all it would be ADR, additional dialogue recordings for them, and it would also have they would do that while their face would be all dotted up and so you could get the right emotions and sequences, sentences, and so on.
Unless they could come up with a storyline that as to a reason why they're old. You know,
they also
for some reason they grew old, or even though they've shown killers, but
they're young killers.
Right. If they came up with some reason that they aged or whatever, that could work, I guess, too, if it seemed plausible, but I don't know.
I think they're there for a couple of badass moments and they're gonna get killed off. That's my guess.
Right.
I kind of hope it doesn't happen that way, and they're there for a little bit more than that, and can kind of act as those like Obi-Wan characters, but also this is the Predator, so someone has got to go, and it seems like those two, where they were the best at a certain point in time, are the most viable. And I could see them kind of leaning into, okay, Naru's the smartest, but she's by far like physically the weakest. Obviously, there's another lady that has taken out kind of Yautja too here in the Viking lady, but also she's cutting people's heads off with freaking shields. She's tough. She's very tough. Naru's tough, but she uses her brains more than she uses her physical strengths. And I could see maybe Danny Glover or Arnie in whether it be live action or animation having to almost sacrifice himself to save her, while she maybe does something more grandiose for the team at large or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be like the natural, just easy, not easy, but that's the natural way of just doing it, you know.
I like the idea of Alan Rickson though. Coming in. That dude, man. You know, unless you want to try to do the thing of like just have totally different actors being those characters, I guess you could try that too, but I don't know if they could make it work. But
you'd have to have different actors at least on set be those different characters.
At least the bodies.
The biggest, I think, stranglehold for them doing a live action is first budget.
Right. Yeah.
Second, definitely goes into budget as well. And the one thing that I think is really doing Predator Badlands favors right now that not as many people are talking about, but some of the critique has been kind of forwarded that direction as well, is well, it's just PG-13 Predator. Like, it's not. If this wasn't synthetics and like creatures,
right? Yeah,
it would be rated R times 3. You know, it wouldn't be NC-17.
If all that was real people that was getting. This is an R movie.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, maybe it's getting. Hey, stop scratching my furniture, cat. Nonetheless, this is getting, I think, the type of audience it's getting because it's more accessible to more people.
Yeah.
One second. Just telling that cat to stop scratching. I'm not gonna have any furniture left by the end of the stream.
Yeah. I've seen these things you can stick on your furniture they can scratch on, but then that's not breaking the habit. You have to get a water gun.
See, I'm kind of at my station and I don't have my usual utensils because I used to have those, and then they just peed on them. So I was like, well, that's not going to be good. So my usual method of madness there to combat the cat scratching and peeing on things is just scat mats. You know, I don't like shocking a cat necessarily, but it teaches them not
Right.
to go over there, so that's good at least.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the Predator Badlands before she started scratching again. I'm glad I got loud for a second because it made it run off.
Anyway, I gotta go here pretty soon, so we gotta wrap it up. But yeah.
All right, okay, we're about that hour and a half mark anyway.
Yeah.
I think just give her some catnip. She looks like she's got too much. She's running around. Nonetheless, so I think the budget is a big issue, and Badlands being PG-13s, PG-13 has allowed that audience to grow. I think if it was rated R and still this good, obviously it would have just been the same thing, just with actual blood, probably. Then maybe it might have hit 25 million and 40 million worldwide. But because more people were able to see it, more eyeballs were able to get to it, it allowed it to make more money. It allowed it more people to go see it. It allowed it to have an audience that it might only have in streaming if it tried to just be rated R.
Yeah. I didn't mind that it didn't have the blood and gore. I mean, that doesn't bother me necessarily in this kind of movie at this point in my life anyway. So I don't know. I don't feel like it necessarily lost anything by not being an R movie.
Because it is an R movie without being an R movie. So I'm 1000% with you. My worry going into is if we do another live action and we get a live action project as an audience, it's going to make the barrier of entry harder again. And I'm not saying give us more PG-13 Predator. If you make it this cool, this badass, and this awesome, sure. And if it's no blood and it's all just white synthetic blood or green Predator blood, all good all day. Now my worry with Killer of Killers crew being involved in a live action version of things is now we get back to red human blood, which makes it rated R very quickly. And if you get the Killer of Killers crew in there, now you got to, even if you're not using him the entire time, you got to pay for Danny Glover. Even if you're not using him the entire time, you got to pay for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even if you're not using them all the time, you got to pay for these actors, and you got to find actors first and foremost that look like their animated counterparts and can sound like them as well. It's like Wolverine in a PG-13 movie versus Logan. Yes. Well, not Badlands. The next movie is kind of the thought process there is you would need Logan where now that they have but the type of money that you need to make on a project like that would necessitate it because of the budget, you would want to almost be a PG-13 movie so that barrier of entry for audiences is lessened and you get the larger box office like Badlands is getting right now. So it is a bit of a conundrum there where, hey, if you add the cool stuff, the stuff that is there but not there in the way we're used to it, if you add that back into it, now it's rated R and not as many eyeballs are going to see it. At first, it'll be great on streaming most likely, especially with Trachtenberg catalog repertoire of things. Now the other thing is if we go animation with that and we were to get an animated Killer of Killers meets Badlands project now, that would also be dope. That would be great. That'd be badass. Is it going to go straight to streaming again though? And the other option is if you're going to put it in theaters, yes, it doesn't cost as much to make because it's animated. It's still not going to cost nothing to make. It's still going to be where Predator Badlands cost 120 million. Let's just real quick. Budget of Killer of Killers. 50 million. I was going to say, I still think an animated version of both of these together would be in the 60 to 80 million cost wise. The only question there is, can you tap into the same type of audience that goes to see the Across and Into the Spider-Verse films, but for that rated R Logan-like film as well? Can you tap into that Logan? Can you combine the Logan and Spider-Verse audiences to actually go to the movie theater to see an animated Predator movie? Because Killer of Killers is still the least seen Predator project, I'm pretty sure, even though it's dope and it's awesome and it's great.
They didn't really market it very well, and it's just not.
It was almost a sneak drop. It was said like a
more
month out.
people
It was
would like
"There you
it if they were aware of it. I just don't think they should have had a trailer for it in this movie before this movie started.
go." Honestly, yeah, that would have been interesting.
Mhm.
Because technically that trailer would never go out of style. It's on Hulu. You go watch it whenever you feel like it. Even if the film was already out, if people haven't seen it, it would still be that's and it would be cheaper too. Marketing is a huge part of things, very much so. And there was very, very little marketing for Killer of Killers. It felt almost like a shadow drop, like Oblivion Remastered was like video game wise earlier in the year. They were just like, oh yeah, we finished this. Here you go. Have fun. And I think that works great for video games.
Yes.
But for film, you need to find a way to generate that hype.
Right. I'm just curious why they didn't do any marketing on it. Maybe, I don't know.
Powers
didn't think it would get a lot of because it's animated. I don't know. But it's really good. I mean, I watched it. It was like way better than I thought it would be. I really liked the the different storyline, jumping to the different storylines and all of that. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
I remember how happy I was the first time I watched the movie. And okay, cool. Was it World War II first or was it the Norse stuff first?
I don't remember. Norse?
I think it was it Norse, World War II, Japan? Because Japan was the third one, I'm pretty sure. Whatever it was okay. This is really cool. Oh, this is a cool story too. Okay, we're continuing this. I thought we might be. Cool. That was a really cool story.
Yeah.
I'd love to see where these end up going. And as like my brain thought that, and I thought I was about to click off the TV, it says, oh no. These three are just waking up right now. And now we're getting into it. And I'm like, oh, there was that scene at the very beginning of the movie. Oh, they're all in that little the box together, that bunker together, the room, whatever it is. Where are we going now? And then you get that last about 15, 20, 30 minutes of it. And it's just, if it and Badlands are just straight adrenaline, pure adrenaline. And it's so fun. That's why I think those movies are going to go well together. Like we've just been detailing, though, whether they do live action or animation, it is going to be interesting. And how are they going to approach it? I guess is the big question. There's ups and downs to both.
Well, I think they'll definitely do live action if this, makes, continues to do, if it does well, I don't know how long of a window they give it to determine if it does well or not. I guess opening weekend, but I mean, overall, and it'll be
it makes budget back.
A lot of people will buy it too, because I think there's a lot of people that are into it enough that they're going to want to own everything.
I was thinking of looking for a Predator bundle on like Vudu or Fandango Now or something like that. Right. And then I thought to myself, well, let me wait till the next couple movies are out. Then I'll get the big bundle or something like that.
Yeah. And it's all on Hulu right now. Or Disney Plus, I guess.
How much the previous project make be a big part in determining the way things go forward? Very much so. Very much so. And I think they are going to end up having to wait to see how well Badlands does overall.
Yeah.
Is
it international release right now too, or is it just here?
National.
Okay.
Because that's why they expected it to make $40 million total worldwide, and then it made 40 domestic and 80 worldwide. It doubled worldwide, which was really cool.
Yeah.
How this goes is going to very much determine how they approach the next project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, we say that. Who knows if Dan Trachtenberg's not working on something right now?
Mm-hmm.
He's accomplished a trilogy of films within the time span that most people try to attempt to put out a sequel.
Right. Yeah.
And that's pretty damn cool. I don't know. I have a lot of hope going forward, I guess, for the Predator franchise. I think Trachtenberg is a good guy at the helm. I don't think things have been over Disneyfied. I can see why some folks say that, but like we detailed out, Thea is a more complex character than the folks that are just saying, "Oh, it's Disneyfied" and whatever.
Right.
And Bud as well. I think both are far more
Yeah.
complex
Mm-hmm.
than your average character in a Predator film. Much less your average just individual film. They're very much setting things up for the future, and I don't think Thea is going to be good necessarily. I think there's a lot of room to make her kind of questionable, because obviously we still want Deck to do well, and we want him to win, and we want him to do good, and I think she wants the same.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't seem like she cares about people all that much. So use them like a tool or take them out. One or the other.
It seems very, like you said, fascinated with the Yautja culture and stuff. So, that she knows the language and all this stuff. So, yeah.
I think it was Campy who said that any project has to make double its cost back in order to make a profit, if you include publicity and advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Typically. He always says that. He didn't come up with that. That's just a kind of a Hollywood trade kind of known thing. But he reiterates it often, and it needs to be reiterated often as well.
If things can still work that way, maybe it's just not going to work that way anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I
don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
But we are an hour and a half into this. We might go ahead and call that a day. If y'all haven't, check out Sarah's channels and Lady Hockey if you like hockey. You always say not to, but I'm going to. We got to get people. We got to get folks over there.
It's just it's a specific team, so that's why I'm just like, most of the people watching here are not going to be into it. Anyway,
who knows? Monk, message me on like Twitter or something if you can, or X, whatever the hell it's called, Facebook, whatever. I don't know. I had some fun stuff this weekend happen that you'd be intrigued by.
Yeah. We're going to be back tomorrow, so
and we're going to be back for Stargate Outpost tomorrow.
You guys are going to get seeing our two faces all the time.
Hey guys, do we want to? I guess tomorrow we don't have 100% set topic for tomorrow. We did mention, kind of not how can we bring Stargate back and how would they do it, but maybe we could think up not like the exact projects, but the type of projects that we would like for them to bring back, if it is somebody that's going to be like a Dan Trachtenberg that they try to get, like somebody that is more world building focused as well as
and it seems like they had somebody like that and they went away, and maybe now they're back, and then
because we can detail it through like a Fergus kind of thought process, and Mark Fergus, Hawk Otsby process. We can detail it through a Jordan Peele thought process if we can. We can kind of take the different avenues that we know they've almost taken and think, how would that type of sensibility bring us to where we would like to be, or where we think it would bring us nonetheless. Because that is different in different ways. Jordan Peele would want the hard reboot. I think Mark and Hawk, Fergus and Otsby would want the soft reboot where, okay, we might have a new team of people and stuff, but there's General Mitchell, whatever it is, whoever, they just call him Ben Browder now. Just great.
Sam's running the SGC,
however it ends up being, that might be a fun way to approach tomorrow. I think just,
or we'll just take it wherever it leads us, I guess, as we kind of usually do.
This will be the video title tomorrow: how to approach the Stargate franchise. Does that sound good?
Yep.
That quippy and catchy for folks.
I think so.
Cool. Yes, message me, Monk, and it's fun, cool stuff. I was really excited about. We'll nerd out just a little bit. What about Kevin Smith version? Can you imagine a Kevin Smith Stargate script? So that was a great stream. We'll see you next week.
Kevin,
I love Kevin Smith, but Kevin Smith is
right, yeah.
not for Stargate.
Dude, what was it? Was it Gate World? What's his name at Gate World that had talked about bringing it back like as an anthology or something? I don't know. Whatever. We can talk about
I
that.
like the anthology too.
I'll have to watch that video again of what I'm talking about because I don't remember.
That actually is a really good video because I don't know if that's the best way to bring back Stargate just generally. But if we're talking in the franchise aspect, to have that isn't a bad idea. I don't think it would be a good way to reintroduce Stargate, but I think it's a great way to really do the world building that would be necessary, and you could almost utilize that like a Killer of Killers. I don't think you have to freeze people in time, but hey, we can go back and see an episode or a season of stuff on the Ancients. Same thing with the Jaffa. Same thing with the Unas. Same thing with the Ghoul taking over the Unas and then forming their own species.
Just kind of go like, let's go around the universe and catch up with what's going on with all these people, kind of thing. Yeah. And
honestly, we'll dive more into that tomorrow because I could go on the freaking rabbit hole and a half right there if we're not careful. And I think
save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, you and I would be here for another 3 hours. Which it's not a Stormy stream. It's not a 4-hour stream. Which we get Stormy back in like 20 days. I'm pumped. All that being said, though, Stargate Outpost tomorrow is our big housekeeping. Thursday, I should still be on for Twisted Metal for a Radical Wasteland special episode there. And then we should be back for your regularly scheduled Radical Wasteland on Friday, Greg and I. And then Sunday, Sci-Fi Sundays as usual. I don't know what we'll be talking about because we might be Badlands out by that point, or we might just be getting started because we texted. I don't know where Jamie is. He might have just gotten distracted at the end of the day, but it'll be fun to have. Can we set Sundays at a set time? I keep missing it. It's always 10:15 or 10:30. Well, you're West Coast, so it's always 10:15 or 10:30. If we're having tech troubles, we might go back 5 or 10 minutes, but we usually type in there and let you know. But yeah, 10:15, 10:30 is our standard time there. Same thing for tomorrow, Thursday, Friday as well. And oh God, there's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of things to be excited about sci-fi wise, which is a good spot to be in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of looking back and reviewing everything that's come out this year, because I think there's things I've been forgetting about.
Well, like we talked about last Sunday.
Yeah.
A little bit of a sci-fi renaissance in a lot of ways. Yep. And I think we're the better for it, fan-wise, fandom-wise, audience-wise. We love it. Our channels had good eating this year, at least, and all of those that come spend time with us, we've all been eating good this year, which is great. Yep. All that being said, once again, thank y'all for hanging with us. It has been a blast. Don't forget to order your limited edition Dogma 4K Blue. Dogma everything. Honestly, that is a great movie. All that being said, thank y'all again. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We will see y'all tomorrow, actually. Yep. All right. See y'all.
All right. Bye.